Welcome back to Newsbeat. We're turning out of sports with Erik Vollenweider. And Erik, it is just an amazing time to be a football fan in South Louisiana, isn't it?
You're right, Abe, except for unless you're a Tulane football fan, not quite a good year for you. With Alabama looming, LSU players and coaches last week stressed they would not be looking past lowly in-state foe Tulane. While they may have been peeking ahead just a little bit, it did not stop the Tigers from easily dispatching of the Green Wave. Let's take you to the highlights. Possibly the last game between these two teams for a very long time. Mike was ready. First quarter, off a Dan Graff punt block, Russell Shepard scampers for a 19-yard touchdown. And you know what, at this point of the game, I knew it, Abe and Cynthia knew it. This game, you know what, we're just waiting for Alabama, so let's throw it into super speed. LSU pack on 5 more touchdowns, 2 to Brandon LaFell, 2 to Charles Scott, and another touchdown for Stephen Ridley. For the Tigers would go on to win the game 42-0. And Billy Cannon at halftime, the great All-American for the Tigers, honored 50-year anniversary of his big punt return against Ole Miss on Halloween night. Charles Scott finally got the LSU running game going with an impressive 112-yard outburst with 2 scores. Win marked the Tigers' 24th straight victory over an in-state opponent. While the battle for the Tiger Rag is over, the battle for the SEC West begins. Taking a look at the tail of the tape, LSU versus Alabama. Bama holds an edge in every important SEC statistic. Both the Tigers and Tide's defense are sitting atop the SEC defensive rankings, with the Tide holding a slim lead. The biggest discrepancy between the two teams has to be sacks. LSU is all alone in last place in the conference in sacks, while the Tide are tied for first place. LSU has allowed 23 sacks on the season, while Alabama has taken down the opposing team's quarterback 23 times. In the last 2 games, the Tigers have been able to put pressure on the quarterback, but Alabama's offensive line is tops in the league, giving up a minuscule 8 sacks in their first 8 games. LSU coach Les Miles, who just passed Nick Saban on the all-time wins list, knows this game will be won in the trenches, and the Tigers must slow down Big Mount Terrence Cody.
He's just a good player and a very good competitor, and our guys will certainly look forward to that challenge. Establishing a run is always important in every game of significance. If you don't, you become a one-dimension team, and that's an issue. And
kickoff for Saban Bowl 3 will be Saturday at 2:30 on CBS. Moving to another team looking to lock up the SEC West crown, LSU volleyball team hosted Georgia and Auburn this weekend. And following a 3-1 win over the Bulldogs on Friday, the Tigers were looking for the weekend sweep against Auburn. Brittany Coopy named National Player of the Week this week, and she shows why in the first game she puts down a spike. The Tigers win 25-12. Later on, Lauren DiGirolamo getting into the act puts another spike. The Tigers win once again 25-12 in that game. And on game point, the Tigers put the ball away and that they would sweep away the Auburn Tigers 3-0. Tigers are still perched atop the SEC West and go on the road this weekend to take on Georgia. Finally, you know what? I'm sensing a little bit of a theme here. The LSU soccer team also clinched the SEC West over the weekend when they destroyed Arkansas 4-1. In our final regular season game as a Tiger, SEC Offensive Player of the Year Mallory Rutledge was part of all 4 Tiger scores, 3 assists and 1 goal. With the win, the Tigers will move on to the SEC tournament as the number 2 seed, after Florida clinched the overall championship with a 3-0 win against South Carolina. The team will face off against Vanderbilt in the first round on Wednesday. And Abe and Cynthia, New Orleans Saints, big win last night against the Atlanta Falcons, 7-0, 9 more to go until an undefeated season, but that's looking way too far ahead.
Well, a couple games in the future is that New England Patriots matchup.
Another game on Monday Night Football should be very fun, very exciting year to be a Saints fan.
Definitely. Thanks, Erik.